Hi, everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Tea with Ray Ray. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Oh, Aya, what the hell? You're in London. I knew you were across the pond. I couldn't remember where. So it's late as hell there. It's got to be, you guys are what, 8 hours ahead of me or something? Girl, go to bed. Hey, Silas. Hello, everyone. Hi, Whitney. Hi, Jade. Everyone say hey, hey to Ray Ray. She's had a bit of a stressful day because with the pandemic, the groomers are all closed, or at least the one I usually go to, which is just Petco. And she needs her nails cut. So I had to do it today for the first time. I bought some little dog nail clippers, and I've never wanted to be the one to do it because I know it hurts the dogs. Like, I've never met a dog that likes getting his or her nails clipped. And I didn't want her to like associate that pain with me. I was just like, let some stranger handle that. But you got to do what you got to do because she's got these little, I forget what the proper name is, but she's got these little extra toes on the side and the front and the back, and they get super long to the point where they can potentially become ingrown. We haven't gotten there yet, but they come pretty close if I wait too long between her trimmings. So I had to do it today, and she was not happy with me, but I rewarded her with a French fry after we finished each paw. So she got 4 French fries. That helped, plus a bonus fry after all that. Oh, hi, Kit. Hi, T. McSwain. Hi, Isabel. Hello, all my mods. Hello, all my not mods who are still just part of the family. Happy to see you all. Kit, you are in the chat. I can see you. Hey, Audra. Hey, Alicia. Maddie hates, I'm sure she does. Alicia, by the way, I don't know if you can tell because my webcam is a glorified potato, but I was thinking of you. We were just texting before this started, just like, Alicia, I was thinking of you when I was beating my face tonight. You inspired me. Actually, you inspired me to do this a long time ago because you've been doing this for a while where you do 2 different looks on each eye and then just wear it. I was just like, why not? Why not? And usually what happens is I set the intention to do it and then I fucking forget. But tonight I finally remembered and I love it. Like, I think it's fun because for Alicia, for me, you know, we're not makeup pros by any means, but we're makeup enthusiasts. And part of the fun is just experimenting and coming up with looks. So if you do a different look on each eye, you get double the pleasure of that experimentation in one face beat. Love it. Love it. Hey, Amanda. Hi, Bev. Hi, Abel. Lots of people on their first lives. Yes. Irene. Hello, girl. You need to get some sleep because I know you're recovering from not feeling too well. Irene was having, I don't think we know exactly what was going on with you, my girl, but I'm glad you're feeling better and that you were at least able to stop in and say hello. Right, Alicia? It's so fun. I love it. 2 looks. I went, this is all one palette. I already linked it. It's one of the Viseart Petite Pro ones. And it's actually on sale at Sephora right now. So if you pick it up, you get the sale on sale if you're Rouge. And then you'll have to wait a couple days if you're not Rouge. But if you're VIB or just Beauty Insider, you can still stack the discount on top of it already on sale price. And it's a cute little palette. I'm glad I picked it up. I got it before the sale, but very happy. Hey, everyone. All right. Neri, no, that's a dog. Definitely a dog. I am not a cat person at all. Thank you, Caramel Submerged. That's a very cool kit. I don't know how I'm still Rouge because I don't think it might be Alicia. It's the one with that deep, vibrant purple, and then it's also got the yellow. It came out with the apricot one, but it's not that one. It was the other one, if you know what I'm talking about. I linked it though, so if you guys, because I got too much makeup, I don't remember what anything's called, girl. Thank you, Ben. Shaming a 20s. I mean, I covered my feelings on this voter shaming issue. It's tired. It's lame. I do not support anyone voting for Trump at all under any circumstance. And I personally do not endorse Joe Biden, especially when he has not worked to earn the support of me or literally anyone within my age group, since he verbatim said that he doesn't care about young people and has no empathy for us. Not to mention, as I say every time, his trash record and the fact that he has allegedly assaulted women, at least half a dozen, Tara Reid being the most prominent at the moment. So the idea that Joe Biden will somehow persuade people my age who were maybe or continue to be Bernie supporters is nonsense, because you don't become more left, more progressive after becoming the, again, so presumptive Democratic nominee. He's not going to get more left now. He's just going to be even more centrist, which is, I mean, he's basically a Republican anyway, than he already was. So I don't know. I don't begrudge anyone for feeling that it is worth it for them to still vote for Biden because they're in a swing state, and getting Trump out is critical. I agree. But I am just having this ethical struggle where I'm just like, I can't, I mean, you know what I mean? So the voter shaming thing, go fuck yourself with your own dick. That's what I say to the people who are voter shaming. I've had plenty of people trying to do that to me in the comments, and I basically just don't respond to them. No response is my response. Thank you, Whitney. Oh, yes, we know. Whitney, we know that Biden has lied about all sorts of things. I mean, he lies about policy. He lies about his participation where he was like marching with Nelson Mandela or something. Like he makes things up. And he's obviously not super with it mentally, so he can't even remember his own lies. Who is that? Mark Twain, who said something like, if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember what you said. I'm misquoting, but the sentiment remains the same. And Biden can't even do that shit because he's never told the truth. Let's talk about the actual subject, or at least the title of this video. We don't have to talk about this the whole time, but I just kind of, it's been crinkling my taint for the past few days, but well-established fraud and charlatan, Dr. Mehmet Oz, you know, one of Oprah's doctors, both him and Dr. Phil, who, not a doctor, by the way, he has a doctorate. He's not a doctor. Both of these assholes have been on Fox News this week talking about how, basically continuing this narrative of the cure is worse than the disease, talking about self-isolation and quarantine to flatten the curve and all that. Oh, hey, Irene, thank you so much. Wow. Wow. Well, keep us posted. You guys follow Irene on Instagram because she was keeping us kind of up to date as much as she could while she was still quite ill. So I was basically watching someone who seemed to be suffering from this disease in real time, and it was really scary. And I'm just glad to see that you're doing well, that you're feeling better, because again, with the lack of testing available, it's almost impossible to know what the real numbers are, you know? Thanks again, Ben. Yeah, I don't even know who Vouch is. Not voting for Biden equals, this is tired. I've addressed this so many times. This is, you know, it's a false equivalency. I don't know how many times I have to say it. Not voting for Biden is not the same thing as voting for Trump. Y'all did this when you didn't earn our votes. You guys are assuming, meaning the people who are the Biden proselytizers, they are assuming that Biden is owed our votes, and he is not. I don't know what's going to happen in November, if it's even in November, because we don't know what's going to happen with the pandemic. But yeah, fuck Biden and fuck that guy, whoever he is. I agree, Alberto, even though you got hidden, fuck Biden and fuck his bros. I support anyone who feels that it is worth it. I think the phrase people like to use is harm reduction. If you feel that it is more important to you to use your swing state vote to vote for Biden in the name of harm reduction. I support that. I don't think that there's anything good that comes of people who were Bernie supporters now voting for Biden because it's sort of an existential thing. Like, listen, I have to do whatever I have to do to play my part in getting Trump out of office. I've said it a million times at this point. I'm not in a swing state, so I don't have that existential crisis. So Biden will win my state regardless, but he's not going to do it with my help. Period. Dr. Oz. So Dr. Oz, the big dumb fraud, who, by the way, is not an epidemiologist. So why are you even trying to speak with authority about this? Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you. Aussie money, yes. I think that's what the A is for. He basically said that he said a really he had a very bizarre, gross choice of words. Dr. Oz, he was saying that we should be reopening schools now, even though the crisis is continuing to unfold. Like, it's not over. He was saying we should go ahead and reopen schools. And he said it was I had to write this down because it was such a creepy, weird choice of words. He said it was an appetizing opportunity. Okay. And he said, I just saw a nice piece arguing that the opening of schools may only cost us 2 to 3% in terms of total mortality. This is what he said on Fox News. Only 2 to 3%. Let's unpack this. 3%. Now, I don't know if he's talking about, if we're reopening schools, is he talking about 2 to 3% mortality of children? School children? Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about reopening schools. So if we crunch numbers on that, only 2 to 3% is 1.7 million children perishing. Only 1.7 million children. And these are based on some stats that I read in an article in The Independent. Now, if he's just talking about the United States population as a whole, only 2 to 3%, not just limiting it to children in school, that would mean around 9.9 million Americans losing their lives. That's based on Census Bureau statistics. Only 2 to 3%. Only 9.9 million, not to go Dr. Evil on you guys. Dr. Oz, this is some pretty evil shit that he's saying, actually. Now listen, what they didn't ask Dr. Oz, they didn't ask him if it's worth it to him if he's one of those people in his family, his loved ones, rounding out that 9.9 million, only 9.9 million lives. What an asshole. I've been hot about this for days, you guys. It's just the subtext here is it's worth it because it wouldn't be him. It's not going to be these TV doctors. He's still going to be able to get more facelifts or whatever the hell he's doing. I haven't seen Dr. Oz in a long time, but his eyebrows are above his head at this point. Loosen that shit up a bit. That last facelift was a bit too tight. I am so pissed because it's so obvious. They're not even subtle with it. They're just like, it's fine if 10 million poor people die. It's worth it to save the economy. Sacrifice yourself. That is the subtext. They don't care about us, you guys. It's not news, but for them to so blatantly be like, only 10 million. And he apologized a few days later or maybe a day later. Damage is done. You fucked up. And he said he misspoke. Misspoke is when you pronounce a word incorrectly, or maybe you say, the wrong word, you conflate something, whatever. Saying it's only 2 to 3% that's worth it, that's a very appetizing opportunity. That's more than misspeaking. That's showing your ass. Anyway, Dr. Oz, this isn't the first time that he's been exposed as a fraud anyway. Didn't he have some other fake doctor on his show promoting a supplement that was later proven to be completely ineffective? Green coffee extract or something? I don't forget anything. I may forget details, but if you fuck up, My ex used to call my brain the shit list because I remember every person's fuck up, every famous person. It's the vault, dude. I remember. But I'm pretty sure he got into big trouble because he duped his audience into supporting some like some quack fake naturopath, called himself a doctor even though he wasn't. Thank you, William, for the super chat. Exactly. Everyone who wants to reopen the economy is in the 1%. The funny thing about capitalism is the capital is people. It doesn't work without employees, the working class. If we can't work, capitalism doesn't work. And that's why they keep talking about we need to get everyone back to work. Yeah, Dr. Phil, he's another one. I saw some video, I think it was David Dole, where he was talking about Dr. Phil's comments, getting all kinds of statistics and numbers wrong. Again, we've known Phil was a fraud for years. Much like Ellen, I know people who have worked for him on that piece of shit show. Allegedly, not a great guy to work for. I'll leave it at that. Hi, Kenneth. Thank you for the super chat. Yes, absolutely. I said this, I think probably last week or at some point, that people in the Black communities around this country are being affected deleteriously in disproportionate numbers. We're dying more, we're being infected more, we're not recovering as much. And because of things like food deserts, the incidence of pre-existing conditions that exacerbate the effects of coronavirus, it's a real thing in our communities, you know? Incidences of heart disease, diabetes, all these things kind of prime you to have an even worse experience if you do encounter the virus. It's fucked up. Ugh, get me out of here. Right, Mitch? Thanks a lot, Oprah. Thanks a lot. Oh, hey, Sade. Didn't see you come in. Yeah. Our journey called life. I've heard that too. I haven't really seen as much reporting on that because I tend to follow a lot of like Black activists and stuff. So the news that I hear is often centered around our statistics amidst this crisis. Bootscraft already getting to you, girl. Kelly, what's up, my twin? Oh, Audra. Our curve has not flattened in LA at all. Not at all. Matter of fact, there's kind of like building defiance I'm noticing because my friends are complaining about seeing people not even wearing mask coverings anymore. I'm like, you guys, this isn't over. In fact, we're peaked to primed. We're primed to hit our peak. It hasn't happened yet. We haven't seen the worst yet. It's weird because LA is, I think, the third most affected city in the country, or at least we're in the top 5, and it's not really getting the same coverage because New York is so exponentially worse. Thank you, Sean, for the super chat. Very generous. Oh, Sade, I was busy ranting and raving, so I didn't even get to see you come in. Oh man. Yeah, Ayo, I do wear a mask. I mean, if I'm just going around the block to walk my dog, because I'm probably not going to like get in anyone's space because I'm out for a walk and I'm going to be out for 15 minutes maximum, no. But if I'm going anywhere, like for real going anywhere, absolutely. And the stores here won't even let you in at this point without some kind of face covering. I can't walk into a grocery store without a mask. If anything, in my specific pocket of LA, I feel like people have been pretty good. The decision fatigue of when I do pass people in the street is wearing on me, where it's just like, are you going to go this way or are you going to go? Because we have to create that 6 feet. So that's annoying. Thank you, Matt. I don't really have much to say about Tulsi Gabbard. I feel like she got, what's the word I'm looking for? Blacklisted, for lack of a better phrase, on that impeachment vote. That was her, right? So she's kind of been a non-factor ever since. She's been sort of like ostracized from the party, to be honest with you, ever since that. Unless I'm conflating her with someone else. I think that was Tulsi. Thank you for the super chat, Keisha. Okay, that was. Thank you, Marcia. It was Tulsi. Yeah, like she's like irrelevant, but whatever. I mean, we've already seen this bullshit jerk off motion of a task force or whatever that Biden has promised to Bernie. That is the ultimate like waste. I mean, it's nothing. It's nothing at all. Code C Joe J, yes, thank you for the super chat. Yeah, I don't talk about my issues with Obama that much because he was far from a perfect president, and it's such a delicate thing because he was our first biracial president. You know, if you are a black person and you say anything negative about Obama, you're a traitor, maybe even you're anti-black, whatever. If you are white and you say anything negative about Obama, you're probably afraid of being called a racist. So I feel like he kind of got away with a lot and continues to do so. Thank you, the margins of despair. Exactly. It's like, but I think that's what this conversation is. Like this irony, I'll just read in case you guys missed the margins of despair. He says I'm sorry. I don't know if you're he or she. The irony is that corporatists advocate for endangering the same vital components of capitalist systems they need to survive, the consumers and the laborers. And it's almost like they're willing to, they're considering this collateral damage just like part of their reinvesting in their economy by putting people back to work. Put people back to work. Yeah, it might cost us. And they're literally looking at people as dollars. We're not human beings. We're commodities, we're assets. And they're like, yeah, we could probably stand to lose 2 to 3% because if we look at Q4 of 2022, then we'll be better, like that's how they're looking at it. They're not looking, again, it's profits over people as usual. Thank you, Princess Queen. Oh my God, Ajama. I didn't even realize it was 1,000 viewing. Zoinks. So Audra, it's not being taken seriously in Texas either. I think it depends on what area you're in here in LA, because in my neighborhood, I feel like it's taken pretty seriously. I dread going to the grocery store now because I know it's going to be a 2 to 3 hour ordeal. Like it's going to take me an hour to get into the store. And I had to wait on a line to get out of the store because this particular store was like in a very high traffic area. So their parking lot was underneath, which means you have to take an elevator, but you can only have 1 or 2 people in the elevator at a time. So it was a mess. That's the part that starts to fuck with me because in the beginning of all this, I felt pretty good. My lifestyle hadn't changed that much in terms of working from home for the most part and things like that. But I am starting to get to that point where I miss my freedom. I miss the freedom of choosing not to go somewhere instead of not being able to go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I want to go out. I want to dance. I want to be with my friends. I want to go to the grocery store and not have to wait an hour to get inside. But this is all in the name of safety. So we got to do what we got to do. We can't rebel like those people in Michigan who were literally blocking the road to a hospital. Do you see the problem with that? Because they're tantruming about being inconvenienced. I feel down because we don't have an end date. We don't even have an exit strategy. And we have bad information from the Drumps and the Dr. Oz's and the Dr. Phils. And it's just kind of putting people at odds even more. SC, yes. The farmer's market, the one that is on 3rd and Fairfax is still open, but not all of the shops in there, only the ones that would be considered essential. So like the ones that serve food and things like that, I'm sure the ones that sell like stationery or like the apothecary or whatever, those I'm sure are closed. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you. Which one, though? Yeah, I'm very much a fan of the 2 different looks at one time. Oh, hi, Mel. Fancy seeing you here. My good friend Mel Thompson, she was just doing her first live on YouTube and it was so fun. And then I had to leave because I had scheduled this one. But Mel, you need to do more lives. She was talking about how our wardrobes are so similar, and I love it. Oh, thank you, Princess Queen. What are my opinions of the Who? Frankly, if Drumpf has defunded them, then I'm even more inclined to side with them. I don't know all the information on this supposed cover up with the whole lab versus the Wuhan market thing. And quite frankly, we are where we are. So that to me is more like a game of politics, like people trying to create a diversion by putting the blame somewhere. Thank you, Justin, for the super chat. People are trying to, mainly Drumpf and them, they're trying to distract and create a scapegoat so that he doesn't have to deal with the blame of completely mishandling this, quite frankly. So when it comes to him defunding Who and whatnot, without taking into account like whether or not they conspire with the Chinese government and all that, that just makes me say, okay, I better make sure I listen to their guidelines on safety and whatnot. Because whatever Trump says, believe the opposite. You'll do a lot better. Laura, Oz is a sellout and he is another corporate shill just like the rest of them. All they're doing is protecting their own pockets. They do not care about human life, except for their own. Thank you, Kenneth. Absolutely. That's another one. Because they've even been floating this idea of firing Fauci. If they fire Fauci, then that confirms that he's the guy to listen to. Again, whatever Drumpf says, opposite. Lord, Kojo, I'm just reading your comment. Zoinks. Yeah, the reopen, whatever. I mean, these are MAGA rallies. That's what they are. They're MAGA rallies. Angelo. Okay, is that Catch Me Outside? And thank you for the eyeshadow, because I will never forgive Doctor. I'm going to do quotation fingers every time. I will never forgive Dr. Phil for burdening us with Catch Me Outside. Get me off this planet. Get me out of here. Whitney, thank you for the super chat. These people better start paying me. I'm drinking my usual Boogecraft. This is high ABV kombucha because then I get to pretend I'm being healthy when I'm getting turned up. Not sponsored, but it could be. Fauci should be president. I don't know about all that, but he's definitely someone I would listen to before Drumpf. Bill, Dr. Phil is a clown. He is a big, dumb fraud. Ayo, I've seen videos talking about what Catch Me Outside girl looks like now. I've seen all the videos talking about how she's blackfishing this and that. It's the same old thing. I'm so tired of it. I started to do like a Patreon video on it just because I was like, y'all know how I feel about not giving these people the attention that they're begging for when they do these stunts. Like, all of this is trolling. She's a professional troll. The fact that this person even has any career, that's y'all's fault. Fault? Wow. Not y'all like my nap fam, but like the people who are actually following her on Instagram and giving her any sort of platform. That's y'all's fault that we're still dealing with this individual. Yeah, Victory. It's all Oprah's fault in the end. If we extrapolate this, Catch Me Outside girl is Oprah's fault. Oh, Estella, Beauty Confidential. That's you, right? I remember you rebranded. I think that's you, Estella. Yeah. Yeah, Angela. I don't think I heard about her saying who wants black or who wants to be black, but it doesn't surprise me. Like, would you really expect the people who are blackfishing to not be racist? Of course they're racist, and they're going to say racist shit. Uh, Ethan, I majored in cinema television production, and thank you. Kojo, listen, this is like 6 degrees of Oprah, and we don't even need all 6. It's like 3 degrees. Catch me outside, girl. Dr. Phil, Oprah. It's her fault. I'm kind of with you, Indigo Blue Beauty. Like, she's a child, she's irrelevant. Y'all are letting her assert relevance. She's fucking irrelevant. We shouldn't even be dealing with this individual. Stop letting this happen, you guys. Mark, we need a lot of leaders of all different backgrounds and walks of life. But yeah, I really love Nina Turner. She's come up a few times. She was actually on The Hill, I want to say this week. She did a Skype interview with Crystal and Sagar. Susie Orman. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about Susie Orman, but I've heard like rumors of her being like not trustworthy and stuff, Raphael. I would have to look into that. Thank you, CJW. That's the only thing I know how to speak. Yeah, Isabel, I'm with you. I don't know how Susie scammed people. She was a guest on a talk show that I produced a few years ago, and I helped produce her segment, but I wasn't like directly working on it. I think I was just helping do some of the research for my friend who was the actual like point person producer on it. And I remember learning from her about the 8-month emergency fund, which is something that I still very much like try to adhere to and believe in. Long story short, the 8-month emergency fund means when you are employed, make sure you are saving toward a fund that will cover your expenses for 8 months worth of living if you have no income, meaning you can cover your rent, utilities, whatever, health bills, whatever, for 8 months in case you unexpectedly lose your job, which has just happened to a lot of people. Unfortunately, we live in a country where so many people aren't paid a sufficient wage and live too hand to mouth to be able to save anything. Thank you, Domino. Ooh. Your significant other is going out every day for no reason. I mean, I'm not dealing with that kind of frustration. I have to take my dog out. I have to go to the grocery store, but I never go out for no reason. And I understand even if going out for exercise and stuff is, that I would consider essential. Like if you need to go for a walk or a run or whatever. But for no reason, that's fucking irresponsible. I think there's really dangerous rhetoric going on around the conspiracy theories and whatnot, because I don't think there's an argument to be made that this isn't real. Like, I know people who have lost loved ones, and it's quite frankly offensive to dismiss this as a hoax. What I do also think is happening is that the evil people in power are using this to do other evil and treachery behind the scenes. I mean, we just saw this bullshit bailout where regular folks, some, not all, are getting this $1,200 or whatever in hush money. Meanwhile, millionaires, people who make $1 million or more, are profiting the most from that bill. Do your research. This is true. So, like, this is the kind of shit that makes people think that it's not real. Unfortunately, this is one of those situations, and I say this all the time, where two things can be true. I don't know why people always act like it's either or. This is a very real situation, and we need to take it seriously because people are literally fucking dying. But also, conspiracies are happening using this as a smokescreen for them. That's what I think. Casey, thank you for the super chat. No, I do not. I hate games of all types. Well, no, that's not true. I like board games and things like that, but I hate video games. William Young, I don't even know what Animal Crossing is. I'm afraid not. I can't do video games. It's not my thing. My brother loves them. Always has, but I hate them. Thank you for the super chat, Kenneth. Bernie is not going to start a third party, so I think that question is moot. Unfortunately, he's not going to do it. He's already done he's kissed the ring, so to speak, when he endorsed Joe Biden, and he's even started chiding his own supporters for not endorsing or supporting Joe or saying they won't vote for Joe. It's just like, Bernie, I thought you weren't one of them. Like, you're starting to look like one of them. But unfortunately, he's not going to do that. He's definitely being the company man, for lack of a better phrase. Thank you for the super chat, Pam. Margins of despair, the recent evictions. Oh my goodness, yes, I've been seeing this too. I don't know what you can do, margins of despair, because what you're describing is happening in China. So, I mean, you would know better than I would what to do. Some of the videos I've seen are shocking of the treatment of Africans in China right now. It's disgusting. It's disgraceful. I don't know what to do either. I've never even been to China. I have experienced racism directed at me by Chinese people myriad times in my life, unfortunately. But so, not surprised to see that this is the treatment of African people in China right now. But I don't know what the answer is, because, I mean, they can't even watch my videos over there. So for me to like try to encourage people to do anything over, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like there's nothing I can do. So I don't know how to advise you on what to do. Thank you for the super chat, Nikki. Ooh. I don't know what you mean by the thoughts on phasing now. Oh, moving toward phase 2. Right. Meaning the second wave. It's impossible to say, because I don't really think we have consistent, reliable information being given to us. I mean, these briefings at the White House and stuff, like, it's just drum flying every day. And then medical professionals who like are like, actually, no, literally the opposite of what he just said. So it's really scary. I would just say, don't worry about phases and this and that. I would just continue to listen to the advice from the CDC, the Dr. Fauci's, the WHO. Do not listen to Drumpf. Because with you got a bun in the oven, it's imperative that you stay safe and healthy. Because we don't know, like, what's going on with these phases and all that. You know what I mean? Like, we don't even have real numbers. People aren't being tested at appropriate rates. Many people who have COVID are being told that they have it by medical professionals. Like, I'm pretty sure you have it, but we don't have a test for you. Like Irene, who was just in the chat earlier. Casey Jones, I don't know the last time I actually played a board game, but there's this weird Canadian board game that my friend had that we used to play in like college, called Personal Preference, and we still play it sometimes. And I have a copy too. It's actually right there in my little thing. I ended up getting one on eBay. So it's just a fun game where you have to guess what your friend likes the best out of a series of things. Like, there's different categories like foods, events, activities, whatever. And you draw cards and you have to guess, like, from 1 to 4 what your friend likes most to least. And you can play with up to 4 people. I like games like that. I don't like high pressure games. I'm not a competitive person in that way. Thank you for the super chat, Whitney. Uh-huh. Absolutely. Yeah, I think it was Forbes that might have broken the story, or at least that's certainly where I saw it. And I was just like, yep, same shit, different day. Rich get richer, and then they basically pay the rest of us 1 month's worth of federal minimum wage, which does nothing except to illustrate that the minimum wage is too fucking low. Thank you, Quentin. I'm just reading your comment. Mr. Phil, that's what we're going to call him. I I can't believe Mr. Phil even still has a career. Like, I didn't even know he was still around until I heard his dumbassery on Fox News. How does this man still have a career? God, it's infuriating. Yeah, Angela, this is exactly the problem. Trump won't even wear a mask. This is why people are, causing traffic jams and damn near rioting in the red states. Like, what are you guys doing? Guy Porter, nope, just Phil. Yes, Christina, the federal minimum wage is the basis for which they calculated that $1,200. That is how much you would make in a month working full time, being paid the federal minimum wage. $1,200. That's it in a month. Y'all talking about Bernie's too radical for asking for things like a higher federal minimum wage. Good heavens. Have I said tonight, get me out of here? Have I said that yet? Ugh. Oh, Kojo, that's an interesting point. Tight camera angles. Maybe these protests were only as well attended as Trump's inauguration. Most well attended protests in history. Mama Laka, you cannot find an apartment in LA that even has rent that check would cover. Like, you can't get an apartment in LA for $1,200 a month. Can't be done unless you're really just like living in a straight up like slum. Exactly, CJW. The minimum wage needs to be at least double what it is. It's a disgrace. I really feel like I don't understand why people are so resistant to implementing the changes so that we can be proud of what our country does and how it treats its citizens. It's very clear that the policies in place are not to protect us, are not to help us, like it's just furthering our own oppression at every turn. $1,200. Get the fuck. I mean, I took the money. I'm not going to send it back, but that's my money anyway. That's my tax money coming back to me because I pay more in taxes percentage wise than rich people do anyway. And so do you. Nope. Instead, the tax cuts always go to the people always making tons of money in the first place. What the fuck? Right, Sellens? You are lucky that you can save it. And even just the people who are still able to work right now are lucky. But 1 month of a federal minimum wage check, what is that going to do? That's not going to help anyone recover from financial ruin, which is what a lot of people are facing behind this. People need a UBI for the duration of this crisis, and it needs to be more than $1,200 fucking dollars one time. Exactly, Shay. It ain't enough, but yes, we're going to take it because what choice do we have? What choice do we have? Oh, interesting. Margins of despair. How Chinese, well, that's all about how we treat each other and our own decisions. You know what I'm saying? Because you are hitting on something. Like, I've experienced a lot of racism from Chinese Americans over the course of my life. Very first time I was ever called the N-word was by a Chinese kid in my class in school. Okay? And I will never forget it. You never forget being called the N-word, ever. no matter how many times it happens. Unless it happens constantly, maybe you just get used to it. I can't imagine ever getting used to it. But I mean, that was just the first of many instances. And in terms of doing something about that, thank you, Joanna. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe this is a loan and not even a stimulus check. I've thought about that being a possibility too. Don't get me started. But yeah, like, I also don't let that continued experience, because, when I'm in businesses that are Chinese owned or even other Asian countries, I experience a lot of racism. Other like Korean Americans or Vietnamese Americans, like, I've experienced racism from a lot of different Asian communities here in the US. And it's unfortunately, like, it's not shocking anymore. It's just like, okay, here we go again. But that all comes down to our decisions as individuals, because I still don't like hold those experiences against Asian people when I meet them for the first time. I don't just assume every time I meet a Chinese person, oh, this guy's probably fucking racist. And the counterpoint to that is when Chinese people, Korean people, whoever, when they meet me, don't hold negative stereotypes against me. People should be allowed to be treated as individuals. They should not have your fucking baggage about their genetic and ethnic makeup. Your baggage isn't that person's problem. So I think when it comes down to discrimination, humiliation, racist treatment, all of that, it's up to you. I can't dismantle systemic racism because racism is a system anyway. Racism isn't a person, it's a system. And we're actually reading a really good book about this in our book club over on my Patreon, if you want to check it out. But at the end of the day, this system is upheld by us as individuals. So it's what you do. I say this about so many things in life, but especially when it comes down to things like racism being allowed to continue. It's upheld by things you do and things you do not do. When you don't say anything, or when you participate in behaviors because you have a chip on your shoulder about Black people or whatever it is. It's a million little decisions that make one big decision. Kai Porter, I feel what you're trying to say. Yeah, dismantling racism, like, it's an individual responsibility in the sense that you have to, moment by moment, make decisions that do not allow these institutions and systems to continue. You have to rail against them constantly. And girl, it's exhausting, but it has to be done. Because if you're not actively working to dismantle it yourself, then you're upholding it. Let's move on. Let's talk about makeup or something. $600 a week for 4 months in New Jersey. That's better. That's much better. That's approaching what it should be, I think. Because that's actually more than, I think, even $2,000 a month that Bernie was proposing. Bernie was proposing 2 G's a month for the duration of the crisis. This would be $2,400 a month in total. Ethan McNary, my favorite book of all time is White Teeth by Zadie Smith. I also really love Song of Solomon, of course, by the famous and legendary Toni Morrison, R.I.P. What else do I love? Let me look at my bookshelf. Big fan of Nick Hornby for something funny. Those are just a few. Hi, Naisha. Oh, Isabel, I already mostly did my shopping because I was of two minds. I was just like, I don't like the way Sephora, because listen, obviously these companies and these brands have to try to figure out how they're going to be able to weather not having stores open, yada, yada, yada. It was mostly the way supposedly Sephora laid everyone off before they said they were going to, and there was no negotiation, just you're let go effective immediately on a phone call where no one was allowed to talk. I don't even know if that's true, but that's been the rumor. Ben Riley, I don't know what Snow the product is, but thank you for the super chat. Yeah, Whitney, isn't it great? Zadie Smith is amazing. What was I talking about? Oh, Sephora cart. But mostly I just restocked on things that I knew I needed because I hate paying full price for anything. Oh, hi, Ramenzilla. Thank you. Listen, I know. I think in terms of like most expensive cities, it's San Francisco, New York, LA, Chicago, probably. Something like that. I think LA and Chicago are maybe about even. Yep, absolutely. Oh, it's a rapper. I don't know. I've never heard of Snow the product, Ben. I'll have to check him or her out. I remember Snow from the 90s. Informa. Not exactly on heavy rotation at Casa T. Nikki Gonzalez, thank you for the super chat. 600 a week plus unemployment and her stimulus check. Wow. Damn. Well, good for mama, at least. But, I mean, she must have passed some insane kind of level of means testing to get that much assistance, because the way most of these policies are set up, like they're trying to avoid helping as many people as they can avoid helping, but they want to help just enough people so that they can say they did it. That's how these things work. Your mom is probably an aberration. I don't think there's that many people who are going to get that much assistance, but good for her, I guess. Oh, Isabel. So moisturizers, like just my skincare stuff. I got the Fenty Clear Lip Gloss because I wear the Fenty lip glosses a lot. I'm wearing one right now. And I feel like I lost one. I should have gotten a restock of my Fussy because that's my favorite shade, but I can't find it right now. This is the original one. What else did I get? I got a palette. Which palette did I get? I can't even remember. Oh, the Rowan one, the new Rowan one. Some of you guys will remember how much I was lusting over those Rowan palettes. ROEN is the brand name. And then one of my lovely NatFam members, Michelle, sent me one as a surprise. She sent me the Cool Tone one, which is the one I wanted the most. And then they just came out with a new one, so I bought that one for myself. Thank you, Bebo Pasoras. See, this is the thing. Like, this is like where means testing fucks people over. Like, $70K a year sounds like a lot of money, even to me. But in SF, I'm just like, oh no, you can barely live on that, because the wealth gap in San Francisco, because of, you know, the whole tech industry, is out of control. My best friend lives in SF, and he pays more than double what I pay in rent for a smaller apartment. Okay. And he can't move because he'll never be able to get a deal as good as that. And I already have expensive rent because I live in LA. So you can imagine how crazy the rents are in San Francisco, where he's paying more than twice what I'm paying on an apartment in Los Angeles, and his is smaller than mine. But he's also in like a fairly desirable, like up and coming area, in the Soma area, if that matters. Ajama, what do you use for your glycolic acid? What do you like? I like that Derma E one I always show you guys. Mother of Fifth, it really is. And I love it because, like, it's so effective you don't even need to use that one that much. I used to use it every other night, but I've been kind of lazier with my skincare lately, so I've been using it more like once a week. Just as effective, and it allows my products to last longer. Bong bong, win-win. I like the one I use, Ajama, more than Pixie Woo's. I tried the Pixie Woo one once, but I didn't like some of the ingredients in it. I think it has like colorants as well as fragrance. And I generally am not a huge fan of Pixie, to be honest with you. Okay. Thank you, Estella, for the super chat. I'm just reading your comments. So, okay, that is true. That was the thing. I was so conflicted. Like, I don't expect these companies to necessarily just pay people forever indefinitely, because that's also not realistic. But they laid people off like almost immediately at Sephora. Like, it was crazy. And it was just callous the way it was done. So I was like, oh, should I boycott? Should I not? But in the end, I was just like, I need my things. I need my moisturizer. I don't know. I always tell you guys, I'm not perfect and I'm never going to be. I struggle with all of these decisions. I am focusing on boycotting Amazon for real now. Like, ever since the thing with Chris Smalls, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, just Google Chris Smalls Amazon. Get yourself educated on that. But like, I'm officially done with Amazon. Unfortunately, I have like a lot of videos where I've linked things to Amazon, just like, oh, this is the hair I use to do these braids or whatever. But that's coming to an end. I cannot support that company in good conscience any longer. Jeff Bezos, sit and spin on it. Ricky, I agree. There is no ethical consumption under capitalism because I feel like all that happens is you find another brand to support and you just haven't found out how they're evil yet. It's so difficult. I try to shop small as much as possible, but there's certain things that are staple items that I use for my personal care or for my skin or whatever. It's just like, what am I supposed to do? But yes, I completely agree. Solidarity with Chris Smalls. Amazon and Jeff Bezos can suck a bag of dicks. I agree, Kelly. We don't have to be perfect. We just need to be aware. Okay, that makes me feel slightly better because I was just like, am I evil for buying my lotion right now? There's no ethical consumption under capitalism. It's so true. Sade, in Canada, they actually care about their citizens. Critical difference. Thank you for the super chat, Noah. I have not used Il Maquillage Koje. I've heard of them, but I honestly haven't seen people using their stuff much or anything. I don't know how high their awareness is, to be honest with you. And I saw that Michael Brooks interview, Ricky, with Chris Smalls. He was also on The Hill a few days later. Oh, hi, Ramenzilla again. Yes, and the worst thing about Amazon is they're so big that they're able to make their prices so cheap, and that was why I continued to use them for so long. I was just like, I know this company doesn't treat their employees right, but this is the best price I can find on my spaghetti sauce. And that I was kind of permissive about it for longer than I should have been, but I can no longer like sleep at night if I support Amazon. Whitney, thank you. Cease the means of production, comrades. Indeed, we are the means of production. Otherwise, it's just a fucking factory or a warehouse. A bouquet of Quentin, you're on a roll. A bouquet. That almost sounds kind of nice. Just a nice arrangement. Yeah, Ramenzilla, I enjoy The Hill, although I could do with Sagar talking over Crystal less, because that happens frequently. Yeah, it's true, Kelly. There's so many things to pay attention to, and it's really difficult to feel like you're always doing the right thing. Like, it's almost impossible to always do the right thing. I think the first step is even wanting to. I feel like even wanting to do the right thing will get you far. If you say, I don't give a fuck, Amazon's cheap, then that is like a domino effect on you continuing to make decisions that are harmful to other people and potentially yourself, when it comes to these giant corporations and whatnot, like, listen, I'm not like a whole ass communist. I feel like if someone wants to be rich, that's fine. If you want to be rich, go for it. What I have a problem with is people seeking wealth and achieving wealth in ways that exploit and cause harm to others. When your wealth is based on the exploitation and suffering of people who have fewer opportunities and less means than you do, that's when I have a problem. Furthermore, I have a problem when you do so under a government that not only allows this, but rewards it. That's where I have a problem. Toto, I've been trying to figure out who funds the Hill, but thank you for spilling that tea, because I know Sagar is right wing, isn't he? I believe he's right wing, but the it's just like classic patriarchy slash chauvinism. Like the amount of times I see him just talking over Crystal, I'm ready to flip a table. Exactly, Audra. And I think like I've hopefully, like, I don't know how many people have actually like gone and checked out your video on that, but hopefully like you speaking that truth to power, as people like to say, will help to shine a light on the actual conditions of what it's like to be a warehouse employee. Because for those of you guys who don't know, Audra at home, our friend here in the chat, she she's in logistics, so she actually knows what it's like to be on the front lines of what the Chris Smalls of the world are dealing with. So Sagar is Republican. That's what I thought, Janubia. Thank you for clarifying. And Ricky, a few of you guys chimed in. Thank you, guys. I'm relatively new to the Hill. I've been watching a few weeks. Again, I really like it, but yeah, there's just a few things that crinkle that old taint. Oh, it's been an hour, you guys. I'm going to jump off, I think. I was hoping that we would maybe, like, after I finished ranting about Oz and Phil, both of them need to be just shipped off to Siberia or something. Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me, Ajama? That's been happening a few times. Philip DeFranco has talked about this, where celebrities will try to do some sort of fundraising through merch or something, and then they get attacked for it. It's just like, you guys, can we look at the big picture here? Like, stop trying to pick a fight with everyone for everything. People really, the rage boners on the internet are out of control. Out of control. But I'm going to jump, you guys. I've had fun talking to you, but it's almost time for a refill. Let me get Ray Ray for our sign-off, though. I think she's forgiven me for clipping her nails, hopefully. I didn't even cut that much because I was so afraid of cutting too short. And then, you know, if you cut past the quick, she'll start bleeding. So I didn't want that to happen. Anyway, good night, everyone. I love you guys. Thank you for letting me rant about Oz and Phil. I hate them both. Oh, Kelly, thank you for the super chat. You're too much. You're already in my Patreon. Stop giving me super chats. You too, Ajama. And before I get out of here, I just want to leave you guys with one gentle reminder. And that is, never trust anyone with a Morphe code. Bye.